All right, welcome into another day of our daily Devos. I'm Pastor Rick, and we are in Philippians chapter 4. This is the last chapter of the book, folks. It's not quite as long as the book of Psalms, so I know you're thinking, whoa, we're already coming to the end. Pretty quick here. I mean, it's going to take us a couple days of Devos to get through this chapter, but drop in the comments for me the next book you'd like us to tackle. So where should we go in our daily Devos? Should we go Old Testament? Should we go into the Gospels? Like, give me your thoughts on where you would like to see us go. It'd be fun to hear your feedback. Also, if you can like and comment and subscribe and all those good things, that would be phenomenal. So we are in chapter 4 here in Philippians, and we're only going to make it a couple of verses today because I just think that's what we're going to do. And there's nobody here to tell me not to do it, so we're going to do it. Okay, so Philippians chapter 4, we'll start in verse 1, even though we did kind of cover verse 1 yesterday, but it's just kind of good, I guess, to start in context. So then, my dearly loved and longed for brothers and sisters, my joy and crown, in this manner stand firm in the Lord, dear friends. And so, again, the relational tone of this is just so strong. Just super, something to really aspire to, in my opinion, for church relationships. My dearly loved and longed for brothers and sisters, my joy and crown, my dear friends. I mean, goodness gracious, like let us have that kind of be our goal in our church family relationships, that we would treat one another like that, so that together we can stand firm in the Lord. You know, that we can fight the good fight, that we can make it through the crazy challenges that life throws at us and still be found faithful. So, and that's pretty hard to do completely by yourself. We need each other. You know what I'm saying? We are better together. Hashtag better together. So, okay. So jumping into verse 2, just practical counsel from Paul. I urge Euodia and I urge Syntyche to agree in the Lord. So just to draw your attention to, he's urging both of them individually. So that's kind of nice that he's not taking one person's side or the other. Interestingly, to, take into account what part of the letter this comment finds itself, it leads you to believe, because it's at the end of the letter, it leads you to believe that they are not fighting over a major doctrinal issue or anything that's like premier. Yet they're still finding a challenge walking together in agreement. If you remember from Philippians chapter 2, make my joy complete, be of the same mind, have the same goals. Like, he really was encouraging the whole church at Philippi to really walk together in unity to a whole nother level, to make his joy complete. Because, when we unite ourselves in Christ, when we find ourselves submitting to Christ out of reverence for Christ, submitting one to another, which is Ephesians 5:21. So he says, I urge you, like he's imploring, begging, beseeching, come on, and encouraging, like, hey, Yodia and Syntyche, or however you want to say their names, agree in the Lord. Like, and I think that's the other part of this, is I think he's trying to help them overcome the fact that apparently to this point they have not been able to find the common ground they need to walk in agreement. And he's saying, I know where the common ground is. The common ground is in the Lord. The common ground is in humility. The common ground is in knowing that probably the thing that you're arguing about is probably not the most important thing you ever knew, you ever found out about, you ever thought about. Then he says, yes, I also ask you, true partner, which this kind of looks like a person's name in the Greek. But a lot of people think that it's Timothy, a lot, so there's a really strong presence in church tradition that says that true partner here is the Philippian jailer that came to Christ in Acts chapter 16. If you wanted to jump over to Acts chapter 16, you could read that story and then know who I'm talking about. Not that it super matters. It doesn't super matter who he's talking about. Otherwise, he would have made it clear. So kind of your 3 or 4 possibilities is that true partner is actually a person's name, like the Greek word is a person's name that just happens to translate to true partner, or he's talking about somebody that walked very closely with him in ministry and was a true partner in ministry. And so for whatever reason, a lot of people think that it was the Philippian jailer, which I don't know. It doesn't super matter, like I said. And so the Bible doesn't distinctly tell us. So I like the Philippian jailer thing just because it's like, yeah, come on now. Like, not only did he go from almost committing suicide to giving his life to Christ to then now he is a true partner in the gospel. And Paul's asking him to help bring more unity to the church. So cool. So then, yes, I ask you, I also ask you, true partner, to help these women. So to help these women, sometimes walking in unity takes help from other people, because sometimes you can't get out of your own perspective. You can't see it bigger than what you're seeing it. And so you remain convinced of what you think, right? And so we can't just assume that people that are having disagreements are because they're just being bullheaded about it, right? Like we have to kind of assume sometimes, that they have a reasonably good attitude. They just really believe in the thing that they're defending. And so help these women who have contended for the gospel at my side. So that gives you a little bit of character reference for who they are. Like they're not new believers, because they have contended for the gospel at Paul's side before. And he is kind of reassuring that their names are in the book of life. So their level of disagreement, isn't causing either one of them to question their salvation or anything like that. And so, but I did think that the help these women is really good for us to remember that, again, because the church is a body, a family, like we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to help each other be better. Like it's like when you give your coworker a get well soon card, but it's not, get better soon card, right? Hey, get better, man. But they weren't sick. You just know they could be better, right? Like they could just do a better job at their job. I got a couple of those last week. Should I be concerned? I didn't really, but so where were we going with that, folks? But we have a responsibility to help one another, even in the simple things of just finding agreement. And we find the agreement in the Lord. And it's important enough that the word that he's using as he's speaking about how he has encouraged Yodia and Syntyche to agree is this urging, like, I urge you. It's super important. Like, I'm really concerned about this. So then moving right along, rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. There's a fun song about this. Rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say rejoice. All right, now I just got it stuck in your head. You're welcome. And let your graciousness be known to everyone. The Lord is near. So the agreement in the Lord, walking together in unity, having your name written in the book of life are all things that help us to make the choice to rejoice in the Lord. And this is the thing that really stuck out to me today, is that rejoicing in the Lord is not a byproduct. It's a byproduct of the work of Christ in us, but it is a choice. Rejoicing in the Lord is a choice. And maybe that this rejoicing in the Lord always ties back to whatever it was that Euodia and Syntyche were not agreeing on. Because maybe their focus was on something other than the things above, other than the things in heaven and not on earth. Maybe they were losing their eternal perspective and they were focused on something too much in the here and now. And so it's just so critical that we don't, when it says rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice, and you kind of push back and be like, oh, you don't know what I'm going through. You don't know what's happening. You don't know. Well, like, living in Philippi at this time was not a time of easy Christianity. To follow Jesus in Philippi at this time was actually, it was a little hairy sometimes, because they had some persecution going on. They had a lot of challenges. It was not, when they founded the church of Philippi beside a river, outside the town, because there were no real believers going on. And so it was a little bit of an uphill battle. And that's why I think that he talks about, like, hey, make sure you're agreeing with each other. There's not tons and tons of you, and help each other to agree, because they were contending for the gospel at my side, and their names are written in the book of life, and we need to be co-workers together. And then rejoice in the Lord, because these present afflictions, these present challenges that you're facing are nothing in comparison to what you have guaranteed to you because of your name being written in the book of life. And so there's this perspective thing again that comes back, that is so critical for us because if we get too stuck on the here and now and on the present, then it causes us to make poor decisions. It causes us to not walk in unity, because this whole rejoice in the Lord always, again, I say it, rejoice does tie back into their ability to agree with each other, because in order to rejoice in the Lord in the midst of their situations, they needed to be able to see the greater perspective of what God has done for them and where their destiny lies. That's the thing that gives you the perseverance to get through what you are currently dealing with, is the fact that, man, eternity's on the other side of this thing, and it's amazing. So then we can let our graciousness be known to everyone, because we know the Lord is near. Let your graciousness be known to everyone. Be gracious. Be gracious to people. And, it's like the center square on a bingo card is like if you play bingo in Spanish, it says gratis, right? Because it's free. It's a gratuity. It's extra. It's a bonus. Be gracious. Give the extra thing, give the bonus thing, give the free thing to other people. Be gracious to them. Not only giving people exactly what they've always earned, because how many know we're really thankful that we don't get what we deserve from the Lord, that we don't get what we deserve from one another all the time, because quite honestly, probably we have lots of opportunities where we deserve, not the best. So let your graciousness be known to everyone. The Lord is near. So because the Lord is near, let your graciousness be known to everyone. Come on. Let us be a people of grace. Let's be a people that just gush the love, the care, the graciousness, the mercy of God and if we could just learn first and foremost to do it for each other inside the church, that'd be a great That'd be a great start, for helping us be able to connect with the lost and dying world. So I hope that you are encouraged today to agree in the Lord, to help one another agree, to help others when they're struggling, to recognize that we are co-workers in the gospel and that our names are written in the book of life. So much to be thankful for, so much to be excited about, that we can then choose, no matter what our situation or our circumstances are saying, we can choose to rejoice in the Lord. How often? Always. And again, I'm going to say it, rejoice, and let your graciousness, because of all that rejoicing in the midst of hard times, it will then immediately begin to let your graciousness be known to everyone. When somebody treats you poorly and you don't respond in kind, you're being gracious to them. And it lets them know, like, whoa, there's something different going on inside of you. Like, how can you be rejoicing in a time where I have just flipped a crazy screen in front of you, pushing too many buttons today. Everybody calm down. So let your graciousness be known to everyone. With that, I just say a big hearty God bless you today. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.